Partnered by Times Influence.
Innovation, Disruption and Transformation, a platform that pushes for ideas that are cutting-edge business solutions. KPMG Innovation and Collaboration Challenge 2019 is an interesting initiative. Real-world scenarios are presented to participating students and they then come up with disruptive and transforming ideas in front of an esteemed jury comprising of KPMG leaders. The winning team from the participating students will fly to Buenos Aires to compete on the world stage. This year, the students presented some very refreshing ideas to tackle the social problems plaguing our country.
$800,000 children in India die every year due to waterborne diseases.
73 million man days are lost to the same.
This is Team Jai Hind, and we propose to you a model that can bring about a change.
The model, recycle filter. Recycle filter is very consumer friendly. Recycle filter consists of two 5-liter bottles, alum, a carbon filter and a tap. So, our product works without electricity. But there are other products too which work without electricity. So what differentiates our product basically? First, it's a unique combination. The combination of carbon filter and alum. No other filter in the market has the same combination.
Thank you. Very informative. I think my first question is, you said you're proposing this because so many citizens of the country don't have access to clean water. Yeah. I would like to understand why would you propose a solution which possibly is also a cause of the problem, which is plastic?
So basically, in this particular ecosystem, you're not producing more plastic. Whatever plastic is available there, you're using it. So that's the basic sustainable goal there. You're not producing more, but you're implementing whatever is there so that whatever waste we have already created, we're utilizing it.
No matter how small the idea is, the team is what brings the idea together, and the team should be open to new ideas in order to expand what we initially built on.
We want to collaborate with the government to aid them in taking a step further and address these issues. We also want to aid government address a crucial sustainable development goal, which is SDG 3 and its vision 2030. We are addressing a problem called glaucoma. India has about 16 million people affected with glaucoma. Glaucoma is a disease which builds up a pressure around the optical nerve, which leads to blindness. With Drishti, we want to save people from blindness who can be saved.
So we have created a VR-based technology which would simulate the same tests and the results of the Humphrey visual field test.
In your plan, have you thought about taking a patent for this, or you already have a patent for this?
So to answer your question, firstly, this is a startup. So what we are trying to do is, once you have the product validation done, we will be filing a patent. There's an ethical committee that we have to pass through through KMC. KMC people, we are in contact with the Department of Ophthalmology. Once they see fit that this product is, giving us your optimal results and it is good to go for the patent, then we would be filing for the patent. So our experience with KICC has been tremendous so far. We have been interacting with KPMG partners and it has been of great influence.
We, as consultants, will help you tackle the problem of lack of menstrual hygiene in India.
To address this issue, we present you the idea of Inaya. This Urdu word essentially means care. Inaya is a service model which aims to improve the menstrual hygiene of rural women. It can be divided into two broad verticals. First, creating awareness through the ambassador model, and second, providing reusable sanitary products.
Question is, the pads themselves, using banana fiber in the pads, are you working with a manufacturer? That's the recommendation. What
Okay. So what we're doing exactly is, there's been a recent trend of cloth pads growing, reusable cloth pads growing, and a fewer trend of banana fiber pads growing. So what we're doing is, there are banana fiber pads manufacturers out there who have the product and the supply. What we're doing is, we're matching this supply with the rural demand.
The format of this competition is designed to provide students exposure to the typical work that our consultants undertake across a wide variety of industries by simulating a real business context for them, thereby preparing them a career in consulting.
KICC is a great platform for students for experiential learning and their development. And these teams work very closely with the KPMG professionals who help them, they train them, make them familiar with the KPMG approach on problem solving. This year's winning team will go to Buenos Aires to participate in the international KICC competition.
Well, it's great to be here at the KPMG Innovation and Collaboration Challenge for 2019. It's wonderful to see the energy of these young graduates in this room. I think it's a great program for these graduates as they look to enter the workforce. They're being kind of seeped in with the basic ideas of entrepreneurship, of working, of business, and trying to create a social impact while they're doing some good work.
After the break, we bring you more of these invigorating ideas and the national winner.
Client is a private sector standalone health insurer which seeks to earn profit as well as to maximize the welfare of the people through its initiatives wherever possible and designs its policies accordingly.
68.8% of the Indian population resides in rural India. Yet, the penetration of health insurance in rural segment has been 14.4% despite the prevalence of health issues being substantially large. Being predominantly untapped, the health insurance market has immense scope for expansion provided that these markets are tapped strategically. Proceeding on these lines, we have developed a model which not only focuses on improving healthcare facilities through strategic intervention of the corporate sector, but also provides an impetus to develop a greater concern for sanitation and hygiene, and also instills an attitude to live a healthy lifestyle.
My first question is around the model which you proposed. If I recollect it right, you said ₹5 per day or ₹3 per day per family. Have you considered upon the average income in the rural area per person per month, and what percentage are you suggesting upon for the contribution to come for this purpose?
Right. Thank you for the question, sir. We've researched and found out that rural households generally have an investable surplus of ₹9 per day. In addition to that, the Prime Minister in his interim budget has currently given 6,000 per year benefit to the landless farmers. So that accounts for 16.5 rupees per day. So considering that 3 rupees per day for our services is a cost which they can easily bear.
So the biggest benefit of participating in the KICC was the exposure that we get of presenting a business model before senior corporates, because we do not get the opportunity to do so in our daily curriculum.
The World Health Organization's report estimates that 35% of all counterfeit drugs sold globally are exported from India. Around 1 million people die every year globally due to the consumption of these drugs. Distressing is the fact that the Indian pharmaceutical industry, one of the world's largest suppliers of generic drugs, has now become an epicenter for counterfeit drugs. In order to achieve United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of providing universal health care by 2030, India needs to implement a digital health solution which can root out drug piracy and introduce impeccable accountability into the system. To tackle this issue, we came up with Project RxBlock.
that employs the revolutionary blockchain technology to empower vulnerable communities of India to take control of their own health and well-being.
Using blockchain, the pharmaceutical journey will become more secure, transparent, and streamlined. It will have a financial, logistical, and security interest at each stage of the supply chain and will facilitate the government to have a consolidated national list of manufacturers, making regulation better.
So, did you speak to any of the pharma companies? What are their views around it?
Yes.
And any specific reason why they cannot do it on their own? And why do they have to someone like you who is more like an advisor to the entire project? Why can't they do it on their own?
Yes, sir. So we spoke to a lot of pharma companies. So their views on that. So firstly, this is our research work. In the past also, pharma companies have encountered cases of counterfeits, their products being counterfeited. But what happened is that they do not want to indulge in this issue because it causes a lot of damage to their brand and reputation. We do not want to indulge in the legal hassle that it involves.
We came up with a simple business model of using shipping containers as shelter homes, which will be called live-in shelters and will be given to these refugees. These shipping containers have 4 main advantages. First, being cost effectiveness. Second, durability. Third, withstanding all weather conditions. And fourth, mobility, which makes the internal displacement of these refugees very less problematic.
Thank you. A fairly good concept and very much required. I think I was quite intrigued. It's not directly on the overall concept, but you started with Delhi, you started with India, and all financials were in dollars. Any reason why you choose to share it in dollars and not in rupees?
I can take that, sir. So, since our most significant cost component is actually the shipping container, and shipping containers in the international market are usually sold off in dollars. So, according to that and looking at the international scope of this competition itself, we try to do it that way.
How do you marry this to the other basic facilities which a refugee would require, water, sanitation, etc.? How do you kind of merge those things?
So for that, we have planned various value additions throughout in our future expansion plans. So in terms of value additions, so basic sanitation facilities already being provided to them in terms of bio-toilets by Pratima Enterprises. Beyond that, we also aim to provide them community RO plants, which will be installed in the refugee camps, which can provide water to refugees at 4 rupees for 20 liters. So it can cater to the needs of an entire family for just 4 rupees per day. So that is a future initiative that we aim to take on. Moreover, as you can see in our proof of concept, these shipping containers are already being used for various other purposes. So we can also, shipping containers, as you can see, they're already being used for various other purposes. So we can also have an education center within the refugee camps in one of the shipping containers, in which we can have an education facility provided to the refugees. So all of these additional facilities can be easily added on in terms of value addition in our future expansion plans.
KICC 2019 was a real experience. It's an experience which not only we as judges got it, but it's also the experience which we were able to provide to the students, and it was warmly reciprocated across. The learnings which came across was real life learnings, and the process through which the students went through was like they would experience in a real business life. They also got opportunity as part of KICC 2019 to experience how they would operate upon in the corporate life and what KPMG faces on a day-to-day situation.
I think just being there and seeing the energy, the enthusiasm, the level of innovation is just so energizing. Now, I think the reason why we do KICC is exactly what we saw today. The intent is to be able to have a look at the best of breed talent that's available on the different schools. That's the talent that we have and the people that we have. Therefore, that marks the differentiation we have for our clients in the marketplace. So the KICC competition and the entire build-up over the 6 to 9 months that we have allows our different leaders to engage with the various colleges that we hire from, to be able to have a look at the talent, to be able to mentor them, to be able to push the gene of innovation and creativity into our people. And if you look at what this year's whole theme was really about saying, how do we use innovation to really impact social change? And I think that's what the teams have done. And I think especially so in India, building the gene of innovation, building the gene of social impact is what we believe we've been able to make happen through the KICC competition, and as also getting a look at the best talent, be able to mold them, and lo and behold, they will be the future of professional services in India.
So our plan is basically getting a formation of a tree structure in which we have an Ayurvedic pharma client which will be taking the plan forward along in collaboration with a network provider which are having their own 4G hotspot devices which they are using as internet emission devices. People can connect from phone and use internet. They are communicable, they can be moved from anywhere to anywhere. Also, the same client will be in collaboration with or has its own subsidy as a mobile seller or a phablet seller or a tablet seller, as we know these the companies have. Lastly, the NGO will be in collaboration with us for more and more human resource supply.
So in your model, who pays for the Wi-Fi connectivity for 3 years?
The client, sir. The client, the Ayurvedic pharma company.
So they pay for 3 years for this thing? Okay.
Under the CSR.
Okay. And where does the rural guy get land to put up a plant? And you said something about 40,000 per year from one plant, or?
No.
Total benefits plus plant extract.
Yeah, so if plant extracts, how much does he get from a plant extract in a year?
The plant extracts?
Yeah.
So 2.5 kg on an approx the wooden bar. Then we can get leaves, flowers and fruits depending on the seasons and the kind of temperature going on. We have 8 different kind of trees and all 8 have different kind of growth opportunity,
So what would be the value? Where do you think a rural farmer would have placed to plant an additional tree for something like this, when he's probably just hand to mouth and using his land to grow basic wheat, rice or basic commodities?
So we are planting this tree next to their house. If you can see in the model, it's next to their house. This space is usually wasted, and there are not the agricultural land is not necessarily near or around the house. So that is where we are planting it. So I don't think we are using any additional space of villagers.
We get to know how are the views of a real consultant, how do they pitch, how do they interact. Also by the feedback round with the professionals, KICC has helped us develop a lot.
The presentations given by the students were cutting edge and involved a sense of understanding of the societal problem. The chief guest, Ashutosh Sharma, also had some interesting ideas to put forth to inspire these young minds.
Trust me, when we got out of college and people said, technology is changing the world, we said, okay, now we've got some computers, but how is it changing the world, right? It doesn't really change anything, right? But if I look back today, technology actually is changing the way businesses are running. They're changing our lives. I mean, so all of you, 10 years ago, did you think of, a number of industries which are running, financial inclusion industries which are running on technology? So the pace of change that technology is bringing is huge, right? From ordering food to ordering a cab to taking a loan from somebody, you're all using technology today in some way or the other.
Whenever you have to go and meet the client, you don't necessarily need to name your own clients, but you could always package it as a story. You could start with, this was the problem situation, this is how we got the team involved, this is what we actually did with that client, and this was the final solution. That is something which every client appreciates. They would hear, and they would like to hear much more and more about these stories.
Creating awareness and creating everyday habits and changing the way people look at sanitation. Whether it's about building toilets, it's about cleaning up your streets, it's about ensuring that people don't throw litter on the streets, it's about providing more dustbins across the place, or an overall awareness and a mindset to say that yes, we want to live in a cleaner environment, not only in our houses, but also outside our houses. And that mindset change is not just about building things, it's also about creating an information and a cultural change in the world. and in our population in general. That's another major program that KPMG is working with.
It's important to be able to respond rather than react to situations. Every time you have an adverse moment in life, or life throws you a curveball and you're going through the pits, most times you're going through the pits without realizing you are in a free fall, right? And when you are in that free fall, that bit of awareness of what's happening to you is integral and important for you to spring back from it.
When the pots are going to come and become the board of directors. 2026, 10% of the global organizations will have one board of director which will be a bot. Imagine, it will be a physical robot which will be part of the board of directors of organization, and that's the shift which intelligence is bringing upon. Are we ready for that era? I really don't know. We're talking of humanoids. Saudi Arabia already has the first humanoid citizen which is there in the planet at this point of time. But is that what we have seen all? Possibly not. It's going to shift a lot.
With great anticipation and a lot of deliberation, the finals winners were announced. It was a tie at the second place, and the champion team won the honor of flying to Buenos Aires to compete with students from all over the world.
At KICC, you're exposed to a plethora of ideas from teams across the country and get advised by the best of partners and directors at KPMG. Apart from this, when we worked as a team, we realized how collaborations can change the world.
KICC was a killer learning experience. We got a chance to step into the shoes of consultants, think like consultants, act like consultants. The entire process, the 3-month period wherein we got trained by KPMG mentors was like phenomenal, nothing short of exceptional. We got a chance to change our idea from something which was implementable, because when we came with the idea it was just an idea, but now it became like so concrete.
So KICC 2019 by far has been one of the most exhilarating experience of our lives. We have had a lot of ups and downs the way, but we are very, very happy that we have finally emerged victorious.
A huge congratulations to HR College for winning the India competition. And I must say, the way the team came together today, the energy, the passion, just the way they collaborated was truly what we call as, when KPMG is best in action, the KPMG Josh really showed today. I wish you all the very best to each one of you for having performed so well. And I look forward to all of you in Argentina for the international finals.
The winner is going to go to Argentina to take on 20 other teams. Look at the kind of exposure they are getting at such an early stage and the kind of networking they will be able to do. It's a fantastic once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's all about KPMG Josh.
Partnered by Times Influence.